Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will continue with the news app. In previous video, we have set up view model. So if you have not yet watched it, I'll highly recommend you to watch that first and then watch this video. Now in this video, we will be covering fragments. And also, this is our last video of the news app series. Okay? So now, let's create it. Open Android Studio. We have already created all the fragments, that is ArticleFragment, HeadlinesFragment, FavouritesFragment and SearchFragment. So first, let me quickly remove all the unnecessary code from all the fragments, like this way. And done. I'll do the same thing for other 3 fragments as well. And done. Now let's start with ArticleFragment. First, I'll mention the XML layout file here. Then inside it, we need to implement 3 things. Declare variable, override onViewCreated function, and set up floating action button. Got it? But listen to me. As this is an article fragment, so here an entire article will be displayed in a web view. Hence, we will write the code for web view, which will be present in onViewCreated function. So first, let's declare all the variables. Okay, so all your responses, API, everything is connected in view model only. So it's a must to declare news view model. Then if you remember in part 3, I guess we have created an argument tag in news nav graph inside article fragment that we need to access here as well arguments. Then article fragment arg. This is an automatically generated class by safe arguments plugin. Basically, it will help to pass arguments between fragments in a safe way. Then by nav args means nav arg, navigation arg, is an extensive function provided by navigation component and it is used to retrieve the argument passed to a fragment. So whenever we will use args in the code, it means that we are accessing the arguments passed to the fragment. Got it? Then next we will create an override function as onViewCreated, where we will initialize a view. So for that, we will use binding. So let me quickly set it up. And done. This is how we declare and initialize binding in fragments. Got it? Now inside onViewCreated, we will set up web view. So to do that, first we need to initialize news view model. And done. Then I'll initialize article variable as args.article. This article is the name given to the argument. Then call the web view through binding and use apply function. Then inside the apply block, here we will set the web view client for the web view. So web view client is responsible for handling various events in the web view, such as when a new URL is about to be loaded. Then article.url with a safe call operator and the let function. Basically, the let function is used here to execute a block of code on the non-null, that is article URL safely. Then inside the let function, load URL and argument as it means article fragment itself and then. Now below it, I'll set onClick on fab, which will add the article to favorites. In technical language, it will insert the favorite article in the database. Got it? So first, access fab through binding. Then set onClick listener on it, and then inside it we need to call add to favorite method, which we created in view model. So for that, I'll write news view model dot add to favorite method and pass the argument as article. Simple. Then to inform the user that article has been added to the favorite, we will create a snack bar. If you want, you can simply create a toast as well, not a problem. And that's it. Our article fragment is ready. Now next we need to create headlines fragment. There is a lot of code to write here. Basically here we will set our recycler view with all the articles fetched from API. Not just that, but we also need to handle pagination as well as progress bar and error message. So first let's declare all the variables. And done. See, we have news view model, news adapter, then we have retry button and error text. Both of this UI component is a part of item error layout. And that item error layout is exists in fragment headlines as item headlines error. So in case of any internet error, this UI components will be used. Got it? Then I will override onViewCreated function. And inside it, let me quickly set a binding. And done. Then inside onViewCreated function, we need to initialize as well as to fetch data from API through live data. But to do that, we will require few functions. So outside onViewCreated function, we will create other required functions and then later we will call all those functions inside onViewCreated. Got it? Before creating those functions, we will require few boolean variables such as is error as false, is loading as again false, then is last page also as false, and then is scrolling also as false. And done. We will use all these variables in functions. So let's create our first function as hide progress bar. There will be a situation where we will require to hide the progress bar once the loading is done. So for that, call pagination progress bar dot visibility as invisible, then is loading as false. And done. Next, we will create another function as show progress bar, where we will display the progress bar. This will be the situation where our data is getting fetched, and in that situation we will require a loading or a progress bar. Hence here I'll keep is loading as true. The next function is hide error message. This will be required when internet is working perfectly fine, and hence we will keep the error messages invisible. The next function is show error message. This will be required in case of any error where error message will be displayed on the screen. Got it? Next, we need to set up pagination. I have already explained what is pagination, but still, it helps you load and display small chunks of data at a time. So to create it, write well scroll listener as object and extend it as recycler view dot on scroll listener. Now inside it there will be two methods, on scrolled and on scroll state changed. On scroll method will be called after the scroll is completed, and on scroll state change method will be called when the scroll state changes. So first let me write the code for on scroll method. And done. Now see, we have an error over here because query page size should be integer. Hence, it should be not in double quotes. So remove it. Also, same goes for this one too. And now see, error is gone. Then this block retrieves the linear layout manager from the recycler view and gathers information about first visible item, the count of visible item and the total item count. Then it defines several conditions like is no error and is not loading and not last page. That must be satisfied for pagination to occur. Then based on these conditions, it determines whether pagination should happen. If should paginate is true, then it triggers the getHeadlines method of the news view model and updates the state by setting is scrolling to false. And done. Then let me quickly write on scroll state change method as well. and done. Now see, the new state parameter represents the new scroll state. Then scroll state touch scroll indicates that the user is currently dragging the screen, causing recycler view to scroll. Then if the condition is true, then it sets the it's scrolling to true, and done. Next we will set up headlines recycler view. We have already created an adapter for it, so all we have to do is to attach it with the layout. First let me write the code. And done. Now see, again an error, but it's a silly mistake of brackets. So rearrange it this way. Then first we have created an instance of news adapter that will bind the data to the recycler view. Then this is the ID of recycler view present in HeadlinesFragment, that is recycler headlines, and then apply on it. Inside the apply block, we have set the linear layout manager as layout manager for the recycler view. This means that the items in the recycler view will be arranged in a vertical scrolling list. Then I have added the scroll listener to the recycler view for pagination, and done. Now come inside the on view created. Here we need to initialize few things. So first is item headlines error that is present in HeadlinesFragment only. Then next we need to initialize retry button and error text that is present in item error XML, right? So to access that we need to inflate the respective layout here. So let me write the code. And done. See, this is how we inflate another layout in Fragment. So this is our item error layout. Now once we have the layout, then we can easily initialize retry button as well as error text. And done. Next, we will attach the news view model to an activity like this way, okay? And don't forget to call setup headlines recycler below it. And done. Then next, we'll set on item click listener, means what will happen when the user will click on recycler view item. It will lead the user to article web view, right? So let me write the code. And done. Now see, we have set on item click listener on news adapter. Then inside it, a bundle is created when an item is clicked. And then inside it, serializable with the key article is added to the bundle. And it is the item clicked. Got it? Then outside the apply block, there is a nav controller which will navigate the user from HeadlinesFragment to ArticleFragment with bundle containing the serialized article. And then next we need to create few conditions, like if the response is success, then what are we supposed to do? Or if the response is error, then what are we supposed to do? Or if the response is in loading state, then what we are supposed to do? That we have to mention in the observer. First thing, what will it observe? Headlines, right? So news view model dot headlines dot observe with its parameter as view, lifecycle owner, comma, observer, and variable as response. Then inside it, when response is success or error or loading, these are the three conditions. So let me write the code for it. And then first, if the response is success, then obviously hide the progress bar and also hide the error message. Then save call operator to check if the response data is not null. And if it is not null, then let function is invoked. And that non-null value will be a news response variable. Then this line updates the data in the news adapter by submitting the list of articles from the news response to the adapter. Got it? Then this line calculates the total number of pages based on the total number of results and the page size. Also, I have added +2 to provide some buffer. Then this line checks if the current page, that is headlines page, is the last page by comparing it with the calculated total pages. And if it is the last page, then adjust the padding of the recycler view. And then next, let me write the code. And done. Now, if the response is error, then hide the progress bar. Then again, same way, check if response message is not null. And if it is not null, then let function is invoked. And that non-null value will be our message variable. Then inside it, I'll write a toast as sorry error and whatever the message is. Then below it, I'll call show error message method and pass the argument as message. Next, if the response is loading, then simply show a progress bar. Then come outside the observe. here we'll set on click listener on retry button. So let me write the code first. And done. See, it's like if there is no internet, then this retry button will be shown, right? So if the user will click on retry button, once the internet is available, then it will display all the headlines using getHeadlines method from news view model with country code as US. And that's it. Our headlines fragment is also ready. Next, let's go to favorite fragment. Here, 4 important things. First is to display all the favorite articles that is saved in the database. Second is to make sure that if the user clicks on an item, then it should navigate to that particular article only. Third, the article should be deleted if the user swipe left on it. And fourth, user can undo its delete action. Got it? So let's implement it step by step. First is to declare all the necessary variables such as news view model and news adapter. Then override onViewCreated function, and inside it, let me quickly set up fragment binding. And done. Next, to display all the favorite articles, most of the code will be similar to the previous code from HeadlinesFragment. So whichever one will be same, we will simply copy paste it. So first, let's start with favorite recycler view setup. Come outside the onViewCreated, and here create a new function as setup favorite recycler. And inside it, copy the code from here and paste it here. Now, here we don't require scroll listener, so remove this line. And also here it will be recycler favorite, not recycler headlines, right? And done. Then inside onViewCreated, copy the code from here and paste it here. Now see, obviously instead of set headlines recycler, it will be favorite recycler. And then set on item click listener will be as it is, except that it will navigate from favorite fragment to article fragment. Then we don't require item array layout, so remove all this line. And done. Then next we need to set up swipe left feature. So focus. First we will create a class item touch helper callback. And extend it as item touch helper dot simple callback. Then inside it I'll pass 2 parameters. Up and down will allow vertical movement, and left and right will allow horizontal movement. Got it? Then inside it we will have 2 override functions. OnMove, which will return true, and onSwipe. So let me write the code first. and done. Now see, onMove function is invoked when an item is dragged from the recycler view, and return true means moving item is allowed but we don't require it. Then onSwipe function is invoked when an item is swiped either to left or right. Then it takes the position of the swiped item in the adapter, then retrieves the associated article from the current list in the adapter. Later, it removes the article from the favorite database, and then displays a snack bar as removed from favorite with an action as undo. So in case of undo, it will add that particular article back to favorites. Then show will display it, and done. At the end, we will create an instance of item touch helper with the item touch helper callback and apply on it. Then inside the apply block, I'll attach the item touch helper to the recycler view, and done. Lastly, we will create a getFavoriteNews method from the NewsView model using live data that represents a list of favorite news articles. Then set up an observer on the object with its two parameters as viewLifeCycleOwner, which is used as lifecycle owner only. Then observer will be triggered whenever the data held by the live data changes. And finally, inside the callback, the new list of favorite articles is submitted to the news adapter. And that's it. Our favorite fragment is also ready. Now it's time for our last fragment, that is SearchFragment. There is a lot of code here as well, but it's very similar to HeadlinesFragment. So we'll do a little bit of copy pasting, okay? Now let's create it. First, we will declare all the necessary variables. Let's start with view model, then adapter, then declare all the error UI components, retry button, error text, and item search error. Then override on view created. And inside it, let me quickly set a binding. And done. Next, outside on view created, we will create same functions which we created in HeadlinesFragment, like hide progress bar or show error message and all. So copy all the four functions with its variable. And paste it here. And done. Make sure to change the variable name. Then again we want pagination on search as well. So we will use the same code as we used in headlines for pagination. So let me copy paste it. And done. I have already explained the code in HeadlinesFragment. Here we have two methods in it, onScroll and onScroll state change. Everything will be same only except the input. See here, headlines was retrieving get headlines from the NewsView model, and here it will be retrieving search news keyword from the edit text through NewsView model. Then next we need to set up search recycler view. Again it will be same except the IDs. So let me copy paste it. And done. Make sure to change ID as recycler search and this as SearchFragment. And done. Make sure to add missing brackets. Now come inside on view created. Here again we will copy paste and done. Make sure to change the IDs. Then this as setup search recycler, and this as search fragment to article fragment. And done. Then next we need to set up coroutines. So let me write the code first. And done. This job is a coroutine job that can be used to manage the lifecycle of a coroutine. Then this sets up the text change listener on the search edit view. Basically, it listens for the changes in the text of the edit text. Then if there is an existing coroutine job, it cancels it. Basically to prevent from multiple overlapping coroutines. Then it launches a new coroutine within the main coroutine scope. Then inside it, there is a delay of search news time delay milliseconds before executing the code inside the coroutine. It will suspend the coroutine for the specified time period. Then editable is a safe call combined with let function. It checks if the editable is not null and then executes the code inside the let block. Later, it checks if the text is editable, is not empty. If it is not empty, then it calls search news to perform search operation based on the keyword entered in the edit text. Then next, we need to observe search news through view model. So let me quickly copy paste it. And done. Then remember, we have a situation where if response is success, then this action will be performed. And if response is error, then this actions will be performed. And if response is loading, then this actions will be performed. Got it? Then obviously change it to search news. Then this one as search news page. Also change this ID as recycler search. Make sure to import observer. And done. Last thing is to set on click listener on retry button. This one is different, so let me quickly write the code. And done. Now see, if the internet is not available, then it will show a retry button. So if the user will click on it, following actions will be performed. If search edit text is not empty, means keyword is present, then search news from the news view model, else simply hide the error message. And that's it. Our search fragment is also ready. And now it's time for moment of truth. Let's run the app. I'll highly recommend you to run the app on device, not on emulator. Here it is. But it's not displaying any news, so let me check what's the issue and then I will let you know. I am back. Very silly mistake, we have not mentioned the XML layouts in the fragments, like this way. We will do it for other fragments as well. And done. Now see, we have latest news displaying on the screen. Then if I click on any of the article, it will open in web view. See, you can literally read entire article here. Also, if I click on this favorite button, it will add the article into favorite fragment. See, here it is. Now we can also remove it by swiping left. And see, the article is removed from favorite and also added back using undo. Not just that, but we can also search any keyword in SearchFragment. And see, here it is, all the results with the same keyword. And that's it. Also, there will be few articles which will throw error or crash because they might be null. So take care of that. Otherwise, it will work perfectly fine. And with that said, our news app series is completed. Now for your convenience, I'll be releasing source code of the news app series soon. So if you're facing any error, then you can simply compare your code with the source code, okay? Also, for more updates, you can follow us on Instagram or join our Telegram group. Link in the description box. So yeah, that is it for the video. If you are new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to my channel and I'll see you in the next video.